Hello there, so I recently did a video about damage cards and whether or not they are worth your time investing in, or if you should rather spend those points on other cards which will benefit you more overall and give you a more quality of life playstyle. That vid I just covered Commando as a test case because including the other builds would have just taken too long, and as much as YouTube would love us all to spend an hour watching a video on the platform, that just ain't gonna happen. But people did ask quite a bit to see heavy gunner version, and there were a couple for rifleman and melee as well, so I'll be covering those three in this video, just in a bit more condensed format. If you haven't seen the first vid, go check that out. But basically just going through testing what the cards actually do in terms of your damage, if they're worthwhile, or if the other damage cards are the go-to instead. Because especially in stuff like strength and agility, there's a lot of cards competing for space, so those damage cards oftentimes take up spots that you could be using on other things. I'm also going to be doing bloodied and full health anti-armor test for the rifleman just to see both extremes basically, and then I'll move on to the heavy gunner and melee. But hopefully this helps you out. There's always a ton to consider in terms of cards, legendary rolls, stealth, no stealth, bloodied, full health, so it's not feasible for me to cover it all in one simple video. But if you've done some testing yourself, then chuck it in the comments below and help out the community in case anyone has a more specific question that you might know the answer to. But starting off with rifleman, I picked the Gauss rifle and the lever action rifle, popular choices, but two that can showcase a clear difference. Now what I mean by that is the Gauss rifle is extremely hard hitting, so you can often put together a one-shot build pretty easily compared to other rifle options like the lever action, which will take more to get it to a one-shot territory basically. Now as a baseline, starting off with the bloodied lever action, no damage cards whatsoever, just the bloodied legendary effect and adrenal reaction mutation, we are at 3 shots to kill. This is also not taking into account any crit shots, so keep that in mind. Compared to the Gauss rifle, where we're already almost at a one-shot kill without any cards at all, so technically 2 shots for the Gauss rifle. Adding in tank killer for our armor penetration takes our Gauss rifle to 1-shot kills already, and the lever action is still at 3 shots with tank killer included. So again, this is why I chose the 2 different guns, much like the Commando, because certain ones may need things a bit more than others. Adding in 1 perk of rifleman, our lever action is still at 3 shots, even though it's better, it's still needing those 3 shots, and the Gauss is well already at 1 shot, so Gauss is already call it maxed out for the regular enemies. I'll get into the bigger targets and bosses later. Boosting our rifleman perk cards to rank 3 each, now we are getting the 2-shot kill on our lever action, but here's the interesting thing. You could achieve that with rank 2 as well, but say we take all 3 at rank 2, that's 6 points in total, or all at rank 3, which would cost us 9 points in total. If we get rid of that and just opt for something like covert op instead, in agility, we get the 2-shot kill as well. So again, if you're going stealth, if you're going bloodied, as you can see, you might be spending cards unnecessarily, whereas other cards, like one literally other card, could replace that for you and free up some of those points. Now I know, don't go type in just yet. In the comments, I know not everyone runs bloodied stealth, and stealth is often useless in events like bosses because it's broken due to other players being seen, so you're not getting the damage benefit there, but that's why I'm also going to take a look at the full health anti-armor instead. And also just for fun, going full out on the perk cards with our lever action, we're still just getting 2 shots, so regular enemies you do hit your diminishing returns, whereas all the other damage will be more beneficial if you're trying to, solo bosses, and that's your kind of thing. And also just as another test, the behemoth with absolutely no damage perk cards, 16 shots to kill, with everything 6 shots, so just both extremes there for you to see. So as a baseline for our anti-armor full health test, we are at 9 to 10 shots for the super mutants on the lever action, and our Gauss rifle is at 5. Adding in tank killer, our Gauss rifle went down to 4 shots, and the lever action went down to 8 shots. Adding in full 3 ranks of rifleman takes the lever action down to 5 shots and the Gauss rifle to 2. Now adding in some stealth, so covert op plus tank killer, we can get down to a 3-shot kill with our lever action, but maintaining stealth is much harder than it is when you're bloodied and have unyielding, so you won't always have that sneaky bonus. Gauss rifle with a sneak down to 2 shots as well. So definitely, with full health, the cards can play a bit more of a role, but again, the other damage cards like Adrenaline, Tenderizer, Bloody Mess, going stealth, even full health, you can achieve the same at an arguably much lesser cost, or at least not clogging up your one special stat where you might want to be running some of the other quality of life perk cards. So pretty interesting there. But similar to Commando, those specific cards not as important as you'd think, hence why a lot will just run, 1 rank of them and call it a day, and then just go quality of life cards for the rest. And it also depends on the weapon you're using, with the Gauss rifle, you might not need as many of those cards, whereas if you're using a weaker rifle or weaker commando weapon sort of thing, then you might need a few more of the cards just to boost that damage up. Of course, if you're going for bigger, beefier targets like your bosses, then of course you want to stack your damage, but generally there's a lot of people at those events, so most people aren't really caring that much about outputting as much damage as they can because, well, the event's going to be completed anyway. So this is more so for when you're just by yourself, going about your daily chores in 76 and just, doing your own thing, basically. Now, I will make a quick note on melee. When it comes to automatic melee, just go for Incisor and other cards like Tenderizer, Adrenaline, and whatever you can fit, basically. Don't worry about Slugger or Gladiator. They're not worth it. The automatic melee, your legendary effect on it is way more important than those cards will do for you. Even going with Vampires, which is often the go-to, with the second star of, like faster swing speed or more power attack damage, because the automatic melee weapons are considered to always be power attacking. That plus Incisor is what's really going to make that difference. Unarmed melee, I always go for Incisor as well, and Iron Fist, which is nice because you only have to worry about the 1 damage per card instead of the usual 3. And for your two-handed melee and one-handed melee weapons, I'd also say Incisor, the role that you've gone for, so something like Anti-Armor and Bloodied, and your other damage cards like Adrenaline, Tenderizer, you get the idea by now. I never really bother with the Slugger and Gladiator ones, but if someone has more in-depth on those, then let me know in the comments, because I don't often run two-handed and one-handed melee just by themselves. I'm usually always unarmed or the automatic melee weapons, but over to the Heavy Gunner. So for the Heavy Gunner, I grabbed the 50 cal and the Plasma Caster, and I went in with an anti-armor version. And the testing, I tried to stick to body shots as much as possible. Headshots are easy in VATS with something like the Plasma Caster, but for fast firing heavy weapons and recoil for testing, it was just safer to go for those body shots instead. So that was my reasoning behind that. But with absolutely no perk cards, our Plasma Caster is sitting at 7 shots, and the 50 cal is sitting at around the 35 shot mark. Adding in Stabilized for our armor penetration, the 50 cal saved a couple of rounds, so it's down to about 30, and the Plasma Caster went to 6. Adding in rank 2 of the Heavy Gunner perks, we went down to 4 shots on the Plasma Caster, and the 50 cal went to 25 shots, so a steady pattern there. But if we get rid of all of the Heavy Gunner perks and just run Adrenaline, Tenderizer, and Stabilize as a combo, we also get similar results, so around 4 shots with the Plasma Caster, and the 50 cal actually down to 20 shots. And just for fun, if you go Bloodied with the same perk cards and add Nerd Rage in, you can get one-shot kills with your Plasma Caster, and less than 15 rounds for your 50 cal. So yeah, go Team Bloodied. So hopefully this testing helped you out a little bit, maybe it'll save you a couple points and cards on your build, and you can go a bit more quality of life. If it did, then hey, let me know down in the comments. But I think I will call it there with this video. Hopefully this helped you out. If it did, then hey, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stick around for more Fallout content. As always, massive thank you to the channel members for their support and to everyone that has been subscribing recently. But for now, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.